Welcome back to the show, music lovers. I am Hari, and today we have a phenomenal story of artistic resilience to share with you all.
And I'm Kimmy. It is always great to be here. Today, we are diving headfirst into This Side of the Moon, the incredible third studio album by American country singer-songwriter Elizabeth Cook. It was officially released on May 17, 2005, through Hog Country Production.
This isn't just any standard album release story, Kimmy. It is the ultimate tale of taking your creative control back. To really understand This Side of the Moon, we have to rewind a bit and look at Cook's tumultuous experience with the major label system, specifically Warner Bros. Records.
Right, her journey in the early 2000s was a roller coaster. Cook had actually signed a recording contract with Atlantic after her self-released debut, The Blue Album, got a lot of positive buzz in 2000. She started recording her second album, Hey Y'all, in the spring of 2001.
But corporate bureaucracy got in the way. The release of Hey Y'all was delayed until 2002. What happened was AOL Time Warner, which owned Atlantic at the time, decided to close its Nashville office entirely. Because of that closure, Cook's contract was abruptly transferred over to the parent company, Warner Bros.
And being shuffled around like that rarely works out for the artist. Hey Y'all ended up being commercially unsuccessful. The songs just were not getting played on country radio. Rick Bell, writing for Country Standard Time in 2005, pointed out that Cook received very little label support during this crucial period.
So, Cook did something incredibly brave. In 2003, she voluntarily left Warner Bros. She famously described her departure as a period of extreme frustration and referred to it as her divorce from Music Row.
That phrase, divorce from Music Row, is just so powerful. She used all of that disappointment as the direct inspiration for her follow-up album. She told Country Standard Time that she vastly preferred being an independent artist because it felt much more grassroots and real to her.
Let's talk about how this new grassroots album actually came together, because it wasn't recorded in one standard setting. According to her website, This Side of the Moon was constructed from what she called separate song experiments.
Grant Alden from No Depression magazine actually described the album as a collection of demos she scraped together after leaving her contract, and the sheer logistics of it are wild. The songs were handled by 5 different producers and recorded across 8 different recording studios throughout Tennessee.
8 studios. That is a lot of moving parts. Among those 5 producers were notable names like Randy Scruggs and Sugar Hill's A&R director Steve Fischel. But the executive producer who really tied it all together was Jeff Gordon.
And here's a great fun fact. Cook actually met Jeff Gordon when he was searching for a traditional girl country singer to re-record his own demos. Gordon didn't just executive produce. He produced a majority of the album and personally mastered all of the tracks.
It was a highly collaborative process on the writing side, too. Cook has writing credits on all 13 tracks, but she co-wrote 7 of them with songwriter Hardy McGeezy. They worked together because they were signed to the same music publisher, Sis and Bro Music.
They had a proven track record, having previously collaborated on 7 songs for Hey Y'all. Cook felt they had reached a really good stride with this album. Unfortunately, after its release, McGeehy relocated to Birmingham, Alabama, and Cook noted she wasn't sure where their collaboration would have gone from there.
After he moved, she shifted to writing music completely by herself. She penned Ruthless and Heather Are You With Me Tonight solo. She also co-wrote the track Where the Blue Begins with her then-husband Tim Carroll, which they beautifully recorded as a duet.
The sound of the album is just fantastic. Rick Bell defined it as hard-edged country, while Kalefa Sane of the New York Times called it old-fashioned, likening its delightfully simple arrangements to demos.
Critics constantly praised her retro influences. A reviewer for the Tampa Tribune, Stephen Thompson, loved the variety, noting how the album seamlessly shifted from slow ballads to rollicking mid-tempo numbers.
And we absolutely have to mention her voice. Her vocals drew heavy comparisons to absolute legends like Dolly Parton and Loretta Lynn. Nick Cristiano of the Philadelphia Inquirer said she had an industrial-strength vocal twang and Loretta Lynn's spunkiness, specifically pointing to songs like Cupid and All We Need Is Love.
I love Kalefa Sane's observation about her vocal agility. He noted that unlike other singers who lean into the melodrama of a ballad, Cook chuckles where others might sob.
That perfectly transitions us into the lyrical depth of the album, because she uses that humor and that chuckle to process some very real career drama. Throughout the record, she subtly sings about her rough experiences with Warner Bros.
Exactly. If you aren't paying close attention, songs like Here's to You and Hard-Hearted sound like your standard romantic breakup tracks. But Cook herself confirmed that the lyrics are actually aimed right at her music career and former label. The track Funny Side of Love is one of the earliest recorded in this process, and she uses humor in it to process her feelings of disappointment and lost opportunity after leaving Music Row. It is such a brilliant way to vent.
Of course, there are genuine songs about romantic love and heartbreak as well. The title track, This Side of the Moon, is a pragmatic look at the hard work a relationship demands. She sings about the struggles and the very real possibility of becoming disenchanted with what you originally started working toward.
Then you have the ballad Before I Go That Far, where she warns a partner about the emotional fallout if they break up. And capping the album off is Somebody's Gotta Do It, a track entirely about satisfying a woman's needs.
But perhaps the most emotionally weighty track is Heather, Are You With Me Tonight? Cook wrote it solo during the 2003 bombing of Baghdad. It is about a soldier's profound loneliness and his moral struggle over carrying out an airstrike, hoping his girlfriend back home will understand him and stay faithful.
It is incredibly poignant. Grant Alden viewed it as a war song rather than a protest song. It even drew comparisons to Glenn Campbell's classic 1969 single Galveston, with authors noting that both songs ask the same moral question: can war and love exist in the same heart?
Let's pivot to how this album made its way into the world. It had a limited, independent release first in August 2004. Then, Hog Country Production gave it a wider audio CD release in May of 2005.
She pushed it hard, too. She incorporated the music into her live shows, booked a summer tour, and even performed at the legendary Grand Ole Opry to support it. She also took the music to international festivals.
There was also a music video shot in New Mexico for Before I Go That Far. The entertainment company 30 Tigers eventually uploaded it to their YouTube channel a couple of years later, in April 2007.
But despite the Opry appearances and the critical acclaim, the track still received very little radio airplay. And here's a lesser-known fact that really highlights the grind of the music business. After the album's release, Cook actually worked as a waitress just to secure a steady income.
It is a humbling detail. She mentioned she took that specific job because she wasn't emotionally attached to it. It gave her the freedom and comfort to just quit whenever she needed to go perform at live shows.
That is the definition of dedication to your craft, and her lack of commercial radio success actually helped cultivate a fiercely loyal fan base. In a 2007 CMT interview, she said she built a following of cult country music fans who shared her frustration with the mainstream industry's lack of support. She also noted that she eventually reached a sense of deep peace regarding her rocky experiences with those different record deals. And the critics certainly made sure she felt validated. The reception was overwhelmingly positive at the time.
Absolutely. Kalefa Sane put it on his list of 2005's best obscurities. Stephen Thompson declared it the best country album by a female artist so far that year. Reviewers universally praised its traditional country sound and Cook's songwriting chops.
Nick Cristiano noted that her past disappointments obviously hadn't dulled her artistry at all, calling the record a vast improvement over Hey Y'all. Rick Bell even wrote that she deserved a hard-earned second chance to work with another major label.
Grant Alden, who called her an artist to whom attention must be paid, said Heather, Are You With Me Tonight was his favorite song a full 6 years after the album dropped, calling it the first great song from the Iraq War years.
Even the retrospective reviews hold up wonderfully. The Tennessean called it her best album in 2006. An NPR writer in 2008 said this was the project where she really achieved her artistic potential.
Critics today view This Side of the Moon as a vital turning point. Reviewers agree that this album, along with her later work, firmly established Elizabeth Cook as a soulful country singer and an impassioned songwriter.
It just goes to show that sometimes the hardest career setbacks are exactly what you need to find your true, unfiltered artistic voice. She turned her industry divorce into a masterpiece.
Beautifully said, Hari. That wraps up our dive into this side of the moon. A huge thank you to everyone tuning in today to hear this incredible story of Nashville resilience.
We will catch you all in the next episode. Stay safe and keep listening to great music.
This episode is based on the Wikipedia article This Side of the Moon, which is available under the Creative Commons Attribution Share-alike license. This podcast was crafted using artificial intelligence.